Okay, welcome back. This video is going to be about the factors that influence climate. All right, so we've got 5 factors we're going to quickly go through. We're looking at latitude, the distance from the sea, altitude, ocean currents, and then relief. Okay, so let's have a quick look if we can find our first one. All right, let's just quickly discuss then our latitude. So obviously we can see that temperature decreases the further you get away from the equator. So the sun strikes the equator year-round more directly than it does at the poles. That heat is spread over a much larger area, and so it doesn't heat up the poles as much as the equator. So the further you are away from the equator, generally the colder the temperatures are. Okay, then our next one is distance from the sea. So basically the idea is the further we are away from from any massive body of water, from any sea or anything like that, the further we are away from it, the more extreme the temperatures are. Okay, so inland places have hotter summers and cooler winters, whereas our places that are right next to the ocean have what we call a maritime climate. It's has a very small temperature range, but the guys that are inland have a continental climate where there's a large temperature range, and that's basically because land and water heat up differently, and the oceans tend to retain the heat a lot more. Okay, then our next one, we're talking about, well, in this picture you can also see the difference between being near the ocean and inland as well, but this one is about altitude. So Sutherland in the Cape has a much higher range of temperatures. It's much further up. So at a higher altitude, it's a lot cooler. East London is right at the coast and at sea level, and much basically higher temperatures and a lot smaller range as well. Okay, so altitude also makes a difference. The higher up you go, the cooler the temperatures tend to get. Okay, then our next one is ocean currents. If we are situated like Port Nolloth, near a cold ocean current called the Benguela Current, then our temperatures tend to be a lot colder. Okay, our rainfall is a lot less, it's much drier, and we have quite a few days of fog. But if you think of Durban near the warm Agulhas Current, then we have much higher temperatures, 25 degrees, much more rainfall, and so the oceans have a big difference, a big role to play. Whether or not it's a hot or a cold ocean, or a warmer or a cold ocean, makes a big difference to our climate. Okay, and then the last one here is this idea of mountains or relief. The Ukalamba, Drakensberg forms a mountain barrier, and this is going to cause the rain to stay in the eastern part of the country, and then it prevents rain from getting to the western part of the country. So it's partly to blame why the western parts of South Africa are so much drier than the eastern parts. So as this rain travels up the mountain and increases in altitude, it tends to rain, and then there's a lot less rain available for the rest of the country there. And so the rest of the country goes into what we call a rain shadow area, where there's a lot less moisture in the air, and that shelter then makes it a lot drier. All right, so those are the 5 factors that influence climate. Thank you.